So we're shopping in a new area of the store, and I have no idea what I want to look for.
It was about a week ago that I got a text from Tiffany with a video saying that I could gain X amount of watts if I shaved my legs. And then we all got here, and it was an insurmountable amount of peer pressure. And somehow we all ended up in the bathroom together, shaving my legs, which even if the race and everything today didn't happen, that's a memorable experience on its own.
We first met Colin in real life this past September at Augusta 70.3. That was our first official meeting, but we had actually been quite friendly through social media the whole year prior leading up to that point. So it's kind of like we had known him and felt like it was just meeting old friends at that point.
Then we raced Augusta together and none of us had a good experience at all. And so we kind of looked ahead, all three of us, the evening after we finished Augusta, and circled Chattanooga 70.3 on the calendar, and we all vowed that we would get redemption in Chattanooga together. And then it just kind of grew from there. And then starting in 2023, Colin became an official member of Team Saunders Tri. We all started working with Coach Frank together at the same time, and to see his evolution as a triathlete and him believing in himself was really something special. And that's why we wanted to share this episode and his very exceptional day that he had at Chattanooga 70.3. I think out of all of us, he got the biggest redemption on race day.
He definitely did.
And through it all, Colin has been a great sport. I mean, to let us all pile into the bathroom and the tub and to shave his legs and let us participate in shaving his legs, that just tells you that he's a really good, fun guy. And I think that's the spirit of what Team Saunders is. We just want to have fun, but we also want to get better and see just how great we can do. And we're all going to take that to Finland and experience the world together.
Up until this morning, I always said that the most memorable day of my life was my wedding when I got married to Cait. And the second most memorable day of my life was here in Chattanooga in 2021 when I completed my first full. I would like to change that answer to my second most memorable day of my life is today. Putting aside qualifying for Worlds, that we all were here in Chattanooga together was incredibly special. This is my favorite race that Ironman puts on. That's why I keep coming here so many times. I live in Nashville. I grew up in Atlanta. This race splits those two states. We race in Georgia and Tennessee. It's a special race for me to have everyone here today in this city, in this race, and have this happen. I can't begin to, like I keep saying, I can't begin to find the words to describe how unbelievable today has been, and I will remember it for the rest of my life. The swim went pretty good. Like there's a curve, and like the buoys I didn't feel like were very well placed. Like some of them may have moved in the storm the day before, so I kind of knew it curves one direction and then curves back the other as you get close to the exit. So I kind of just followed how I knew the river went rather than the buoys. And my watch said I ended up swimming exactly 1.4 miles. So I guess I swam on what the course was supposed to be. I charged up the hill into transition and threw my gear on. And in previous years where I was more focused on just completing the day and not caring about my time, I walked up that hill because I was all about saving energy for the bike ride. But I knew 5:59 or 5:24 wasn't gonna cut it for that. So charged up the hill, wetsuit got pulled right off and onto the bike. It was probably one of my faster transition times. I've done this race a bunch of times. I've come down here to train a bunch of times. I've never ridden the course today anywhere near as fast as I did today. Even a month ago, I drove down and parked at a grocery store and did most of the loop. And I kind of thought that was going to be what my time today would be. And I thought it would be something in the realm of around 3 hours. And it was 20 minutes faster than that today. So like, honestly, I've probably biked that loop at least 20 times in my life between races and training rides, and I've never had a ride like today. The first 5 miles were a little bit of a struggle because there was a looming intestinal issue, and I was about a mile off of my pace that I wanted to run, and I spent the first 5 miles trying to fight through it. And around the mile 6 aid station, I decided to sacrifice about 2 minutes to run into a porta potty. And after that point, my mile time was at least a minute faster per mile, and I think I negative split everything after mile 6. I felt like a brand new man, and I'm glad I sacrificed those 2 minutes to make an adjustment. I realized around mile 6 or so, once things were cleared up, that barring some disaster, I was gonna finish under 6 hours. And I was elated over that. And I didn't think I was gonna negative split from 6 all the way to the end. And when I got to around mile 11, I realized that sub 5:30 was in the cards. I still don't have the words to describe what those 2 miles were like, because it takes me back to Augusta last year, where I was a few weeks recovered from COVID. A train got in the way and stopped me on the run, and I was just dragging the whole way. It was a long road from there to now. You know, I had COVID twice last summer, 6 weeks apart, so that was a bit of a recovery to get back into the sport, and to go from that race in Augusta to this, I mean, it was an hour and 10 minutes faster than my time in Chattanooga a year ago. It was an hour and 10 minutes faster or more, I can't remember exactly, from Augusta. So even in my most optimistic, wild dreams, I never thought that today would be what today was. And that's before you include the award ceremony.
And we got one more. Drum roll, please. Colin Lord, well done, Colin.
It's surreal. It's beyond anything that I ever imagined. I've jokingly said to Katie that maybe one day somehow this could happen, but I never thought that it was going to be this race, this season, this decade. I don't know the words to I keep saying this, I don't know the words to describe how this afternoon went. Today happens because of all the training that happens leading into the day. I will admit that for my entire triathlon career, which spans only 4 years, I've routinely not given myself the credit of what I've ended up achieving. And the only way I've convinced myself to keep going is I only think about what's the next couple workouts on the training plan. When I first signed up for the full here in Chattanooga, if I tried to think about 144 miles in one day, I would have freaked out and run away from the sport. But it was easy to think about 3,500 yards in the pool, and that's all I had to do that day. Or a long bike ride with a brick run after. And if you think about the totality of everything leading into a race, it can get intimidating. But if you just think about what do I have to do today and not think about the bigger picture, it's a lot less scary. And at least for me, that's how I've tricked my own brain into having some pretty amazing experiences over the last 4 years. I have a really good team and a really good coach, and they don't let my own negative thoughts get too deep into my head. That's the only explanation that I have that's different for 2023 compared to the previous 3 seasons.